Good morning. It is 6:28 a.m. on Friday, January 15th, 2021. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. So, um, today is the last day of this sort of busy work week that I've had this week, and on the whole, there were some things that didn't go the way we would have liked, but it was certainly progress over the last time we had to go do these series of tests, and it's our best record yet, even if it wasn't all the way to where we would have wanted it to be. Got one more to check on this morning. I probably won't even need to be on site the whole day today. But it's been a good experiment in terms of determining that, like the work stuff, but also that I've got a local doggy daycare that seems to be pretty good, where I can take Rocket when necessary. I think it's definitely not going to be an all day, all the time, forever thing. It's just too expensive for that. But, as a place where it's like, hey, I need to go somewhere and be there for a while, and I need someone to look after my dog, and also as a place for Rocket to get to play with lots of other dogs and get worn out and lots of exercise. It's a good thing in both of those regards. Um, but yeah, so pretty good day. So after work though, I decided to take another crack at Bloodborne, which is a video game. I mentioned it once or twice before, but if you hadn't seen those, it is a video game in the vein of the Dark Souls or Demon Souls games, if you've heard of those. And the basic concept of them, is that like the genre they fit into, so to speak, is that they're very difficult, but they're very difficult in a way that is not highly randomized, and so the goal is that, like, by failing over and over again, you are learning the area and learning the enemies and how their attacks work, and learning how to use your own abilities to the point where you eventually master a very difficult thing, and then that's supposed to feel good. But a lot of people, myself included previously, find that you just get frustrated when you fail over and over again. But a lot of people really, really love them, and I can appreciate conceptually the idea, but I have bounced off of them before. I find that I'm interested in the idea for a while, and then I get to a point where I just plateau and can't seem to get any further, and then I get frustrated, and then I stop because I'm feeling like I have a limited amount of time to play video games, and I can choose one where I get to feel fun all the time instead of one where I have to feel mad and angry for hours and hours and hours until I get a fleeting moment of exhilaration. Um, which is still a thing. But that said, I picked up Bloodborne because it was on sale. This one is actually from several years ago, but it is one that I had always been intrigued by, and so I played it a bit the other night, and it kind of experienced largely what I had before. So here's something that I think I'm going to describe an experience, and then talk a little bit more about that. So what I found is that in my previous encounter that I was doing what felt like relatively well for the beginning for a while. And I kept going, getting to a certain point and then not getting any further than that. And then gradually speaking, I was starting to explore the areas, learning a bit more about it, but it was still pretty frustrating. So last night I picked it up for a second session because I'm kind of just like, I asked a friend who had played it. It's like, okay, well, I got to this point where there's two werewolves on a bridge. How close am I to like the next checkpoint? And learned that I was actually relatively close. So I figured I'd give it another try, and then I did last night. But so I'm playing and I'm playing and I'm playing, and I swear, like, the enemies are getting harder and harder. I'm doing less and less damage. Enemies that I used to kill with 1 or 2 attacks are now taking 5 or 6, and it's just not working, and I can't figure out what's happening, and I'm getting really angry and frustrated and upset. And like, it takes a while for me to realize that I am 100% right, that the enemies are taking more hits. It's not my imagination. It doesn't seem to be just randomized, like, one attack's weak, one attack's strong. I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, well, yeah, I have a stamina bar that's like, you can only do so many attacks in a row and that sort of thing. It's like, is an attack at the low end of the stamina bar weaker than a strong one? I'm trying to figure it out. And then I'm getting really frustrated and angry. And so I literally just Google Bloodborne, do the enemies in the starting area get harder? And what I found is that someone else had asked the same question, and someone pointed out to them, your weapons have a durability, and you need to go back to this hub area and repair them. And then I check it in mine, and sure enough, the durability had gone all the way down to 0. Now, if the game ever told me that, I missed it, and so I would venture so far as to say that if it said anything at all, then it was inadequate because I didn't notice. And so I was really just feeling like that pisses me off, that like it was literally making it harder and harder for me, and I was making it worse and worse, and like I was very close to just saying, nope, not for me, give up. But I did figure that out. I did repair the weapon, and then once again I was doing a lot better because my weapons actually worked. And in that, it wasn't the very next go, but pretty soon thereafter, I beat those 2 werewolves, and then I explored around a little area and I found another shortcut. And then I got to the first boss fight, which is called Cleric Beast, and I beat it on the first try. And I have to say, it felt pretty good. And then it was a stopping point because I was at the next checkpoint. The lantern in that game lets you sort of save your progress and go back to that point without having to do the preceding part. But here's the thing. I was so angry at the game for being so obtuse about the durability. And the truth is, I am certainly not going to give it 100% credit, because the truth is, I came very close to just quitting the game and being angry about it and leaving on those terms. But I wonder, because from another point of view, what happened as I played is that I started off with some early successes, which made me feel a little good about it. But then as it gradually turned up the difficulty, because my attacks were doing less and less damage, I was forced to evolve my technique more and more just to maintain the same level of progress as I had before. And then gradually it was to the point where I was playing much more effectively, but not making it as far because of this weapon durability issue. To the point where I know the area and the enemies well enough to recognize that the enemies were definitely getting harder, and then to investigate what might be the reason for that and figure it out, and then go back to fight those enemies with repaired weapons and my improved skill, at which point I achieved more success than I had at any other point and was rewarded for it. And I can imagine the game programmers planning that. Maybe that's the reason that the weapon durability thing works the way it does? Like, is that the idea? To sort of force you to train yourself in that way and try to produce that specific emotional roller coaster? I'm not sure, but I believe it's plausible. But I will say, though, that I'm not sure it's perfect because, again, like I said, I came very close to quitting. I'm sure lots of other people have quit because it's just like, this sucks. I'm not even doing as well as I was before. I give up. But so I've been told that like this first early area that I was doing is supposed to be extra hard, and so that it's not, that now that I've beaten that part, it's going to open up for me a little bit, and I'm going to keep trying that. But gosh, this video game's giving me complicated emotions. All right, I'm going to leave it there because I've got to take a shower and get to work. But I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.